Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining for this webinar. Uh, I'll just give a 2 minutes introduction to PSF and what this webinar is all about. And then I'll hand it over to Mr. Irfan Khan, who is our speaker today. Uh, PSF is NGO formed by both IT professionals as well as non-IT professionals. The main objective of PSF is to sensitize professionals to do something for the society, not just be in themselves, be in their families, and only be focused on their personal life, but instead do something for the society, for the benefit of the society. So that is the main objective of PSF. That is why it was formed, and we have been doing job in multiple areas, and we have a network of more than 1,000 plus IT and non-IT professionals. We do have a lot of WhatsApp groups where we share all the jobs that come on regularly. We have more than 10 WhatsApp groups just for Hyderabad, and then we have overseas WhatsApp groups as well as few other WhatsApp groups where we share all the openings that we get. And one of the main so these are the main spheres in which we work. For example, the job and career guidance, which is what is this webinar about. So this sphere is where we help job seekers fetch their dream job. We provide them tools as well as we provide these webinars, weekly webinars, which happen on Sunday morning 11 to 12. And we also have all these WhatsApp groups. And then we have social service here, we have service to professional fraternity, all these areas. So any professional who wants to join PSF and be part of any of these spheres is more than welcome to join and share his abilities for the betterment of the society. And these are the contacts. Uh, these are the ways we can reach PSF. So that was a quick introduction to PSF, and then I'll just talk briefly about our speaker today. We have with us Irfan Khan. He is a corporate trainer. He's master's in spatial IT. He has worked in Cognizant as a project manager and a trainer in software testing, healthcare, and behavior skills. He's also a social activist. He's a joint secretary of Access Foundation and core member of National Center of Research and Development. Both of these are NGOs. So that was the introduction. Thanks a lot, Irfan Bhai, for joining this session and taking your precious time on a Sunday morning. Please go ahead and get started.
All right. Thank you so much, Shafiq Bhai, for the quick introduction. I mean, of course, we are all here because of PSF, and we thank PSF and Shafiq Bhai for arranging this. Good morning, everybody, and I will be speaking in English, so I'll go slow. And if you have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box, and we will have some time in the end to address your questions in the end. So let me quickly share my screen. All right. Okay, I hope you're able to see my my screen right now. Um,
Yes, Irfan Bhai, we are able to see.
yeah, you're able to. Yeah. Okay. Shafiq, just tell me if the screen continues to be there, because I might toggle to some other window in between.
Yeah, sure. I'll let you.
The same. You're able to see the same thing.
Yes, the same thing. Yeah.
All right, great. All right. So I request all of you to sort of be present here for some time with me. And you can join with your videos, you can switch it on, you can be there. But what happens is, for example, we are 40 to 50 people here, right? So when we tend to switch on the video, we listen from our eyes, not from your ears. So when there is a video in front of us, we tend to look at the video more than to listen to the speaker. So right now, I have switched off my video. I'll switch it on in the end, though I don't look very handsome. So I'll switch it on in the end for questions. And but I really want all of you to switch off your videos and try to focus on what you're seeing, and also what I'm talking to you, because just give me a second. All right, sorry for that. So um, this is a very interesting topic, interpersonal skills. And believe me, I'm not going to really promise you anything, but I'm a very simple man. Okay, I will definitely take you through something which will be beneficial. So I want all of you to sort of, I know all of you are home, I'm at home, so we have distractions around, people are talking, there are kids around, everything. So but if you could give that 1 hour, maybe next 50 minutes of your time, at least I can promise that, I'll this will be really beneficial for all of us, including me. So as Shafiq Bhai said, I'm a facilitator, a trainer, but at the same time, I've worked with corporates and, dealt with project management, etc. So whatever I'm talking right now is out of experience, is out of the basic skills we have learned as we work in workplaces. And though my experience with social work and being a social activist is not much as my work experience in corporates, but let me tell you this, that I have learned more in life being a social worker, being a social activist, than what I've done before that. So that is why, if you see my screen, the topic which was shared with me was interpersonal skills. It is a must for a job seeker. But I have sort of striked it down because I feel that interpersonal skills is important for a housewife, is an important skill for a father, is an important skill for a youngster, is an important skill for a leader, is an important skill for a person who's looking for a job, and is an important skill for who is in the industry for maybe 5, 10, 20 years, doesn't matter, right? So it's a very important skill to have. All right, so that's the reason why I have sort of striked off the job seeker part. So if we have people in this session who are not just looking for jobs, who are students, who are professionals, who are, anybody, just for that matter. So it is going to be beneficial for all of us. That is what I want to tell you. Okay. Now, what is about something like an interpersonal skill? What is it? Okay. Now, if you know, you might be coming from some background. You might be from commerce, arts, maybe engineering, medicine, whatever, right? So you see that everything. I mean, you have grades, you have marks, you pass an exam, you write an entrance test, you have certain levels, and then based on that you build your resume, right, or your CV. um, Everywhere you put grades, like I've got 95% in intermediate, I'm like in graduation, I'm like first class with distinction. And everywhere there are numbers, and everywhere people are trying to sort of judge you based on what you are, based on certain parameters which are measurable, right? And this is what you see on the screen. Is it says, if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. All right. So what does it mean? I mean, it means that everything in the world have to be measured. If you're talking about a philosophy, if you're talking about a concept, and and you can't measure it, maybe it doesn't exist. So that's one problem when you think of soft skills. Now, what is a soft skill? Soft skill is something which is not really felt, you know. Or if I have to say what is a hard skill, the opposite of soft skills, it is more of technical skills, you know. For example, as I said, you are a finance expert, you are an IT guy, you are into medicine, you are into, say, aviation, whatever it is, right? You are into administration. So all these skills which are backed by certain knowledge, certain skill sets, certain software, certain applications, certain degrees, so all this, yeah. So all these are technical
जावेद
skills.
इसमें कौन कौन है देखना है कैसे
Yeah, I would request you to please be on mute. um, yeah, thank you. So technical skills are all the skills which are mostly measurable. You can still say I'm an expert in Java, and you can write a certification and say that I have got 8 out of 10. And somebody to an extent can say that I'm good at communication and I have achieved, say, some good score in IELTS, right? But soft skills is something which is very difficult to measure. Okay, very difficult to measure. So I will call what you see on the screen as a myth. Okay, something which is not true, because everything which I'm going to talk today is very, very difficult to measure. It is going to be almost, so what you're when you say that it cannot, if you can't measure, you cannot exist, then it is a myth, it is false. All right. Okay. Now, before I when I was I have given this topic presentation before as well, and this time I'm bringing something new for you. It's not necessary that you have attended the session before as well, but I'm going to tell you how I'm looking at it in a different way. All right. So what I'll do is that I'll take you through some slides. Okay, I'm not a PPT guy. You have to listen to me in order to be in my session, in order to get benefited. As I've been telling you since the beginning, that please pay attention. Okay. And so I will show few things on the screen, but you got to focus, you got to listen to me. All right. So I'm going to show you a few traditional aspects of interpersonal skills, and then I really want to present something which should be beneficial to all of us. Now, let us understand what is interpersonal, right? So the word inter comes from one and beyond. Yeah. For example, something which is outside. When two teams cricket match is happening, and there is a cricket match between India and Australia. So it's an international match. Yeah. So why? Because there are two nations who are participating amongst each other. If there is a team within India, say Hyderabad versus Delhi, so it's intra. Yeah, that's what is happening in IPL, for example. So one is intra, which is sort of within, and one is inter, which is outside. Yeah. So we are talking about interpersonal skills. Okay. Um, Now, what is personal? What do you mean by personal? Personal is it comes from the word people, right? So we are talking about the skill, the ability to sort of engage with more than one person. That is if I'm Irfan, my ability or my skill to engage, to interact, to communicate with people outside myself. Okay, so my family, my colleagues, my locality, my city, my country, people I'm engaging with is all about interpersonal. Okay, all right. So let me see. All right. So all of us by now, I mean, I'm sure the audience we have understand that the most important aspect of interpersonal skills.
ये आधा घंटा सुनेंगे वक्त लगाया था
The most important aspect of interpersonal skills is to do with communication. As I just said, that if I'm looking beyond myself, if I'm talking beyond Irfan, I have to deal with people, right? So, how do you deal with people? The most important aspect of it is, of course, communication, right? So, all of us understand that communication is a very, very important skill to have. Okay, not just because I want a job, not just because I want to be a leader, not just because I want to help people, but in all the aspects. Okay, in fact, if I have to tell you that you take up a very small thing. I mean, your mother tells you to go and get 5 kgs of rice from a shop, right? So you go to the shop, you buy something, you get it and give it back to her, right? So if I have to tell that this is a project, a small project where you have to do the necessary things to go out and get rice for your mom, in this project 70% of your skill is about communication. Whether it is buying 5 kg rice for your mom, or maybe it is about building an oil well for a country like, say, Zimbabwe. It could be anything. Okay, any project, anything you do in the world, communication is the most critical and important element of it, which is about 70% of it. You can say finance is so important, you can say technical skills are so important, you can say strategy is so crucial, planning is inevitable, of course, but communication oversees all of these skills which we need. Okay, so the same thing. So of course with interpersonal skills as well, it's communication. Now, it's so easy. I mean, I sit on one side of the screen, everybody's on mute. I'm like talking to all of you. You don't have a choice but to listen to me, right? This is not communication. Of course, this is one part of it, but communication is always two-way. Okay, to and fro, back and forth. That is communication. So I talk to you, you listen to me. That is communication. Because if you're not listening to me, then you will not understand what I'm saying, right? Now, if you have your chat window open, can I just request all of you to understand this word? Where is it? Okay. How do I chat here? All right. Okay. So all of us, for example, know this word, listen, right? Okay. Now, um most of you must have played crossword or jumble. Yeah, crossword. We mix this word alphabet and make a word and stuff like that. Sorry. So can you please tell me, if you look at this word listen and shuffle it, what is the other word which comes to your mind? Uh-huh. Anything else? Yeah, beautiful, right? So listen, listen, and the other form of this word is silent. Now, anybody who wants to listen has to be silent. How is that? You can say that, yeah, okay, I'm not making any noise. Yeah, I mean, there's no disturbance around. I'm in a locked room, soundproof. Yeah, everything is silent. No, that's not enough. I'm not talking about noises around you. They can be There can be tens and hundreds of noises around you, but that doesn't matter. What matters is whether you have silenced or you silenced your mind. Okay, because when you're listening to me, if you're thinking, okay, this guy is this, oh, I know this guy, right? So he's talking from that perspective. Oh, I know why he is telling me this, because we spoke about it. So the more you are talking to yourself, within yourself, to your mind, to your brain, you're not silent. Okay, so the most important skill, what is a skill? Okay, I wish I showed you that slide. So there is, if for example, say there's a triangle, okay, and you have knowledge on one side, skill on one side, and attitude on the other side. Okay, knowledge. Yeah, I'll write it here. Knowledge, skill, and attitude. Okay, so if somebody says I have knowledge, as I told you in the beginning, somebody has big numbers, 97%, 99%, excellent rank in a competitive exam, brilliant certifications from world renowned universities and stuff like that. They have knowledge, but is knowledge enough? Unless you are able to put that knowledge into action, that knowledge is of no use. And when you put the knowledge in action, that is called skill. All right, so skill is something which we are not born with. Interpersonal skills is not which we are born with. Communication skill is not which we are born with. We need to learn. We need to develop that skill. All right, so if somebody has knowledge and also somebody has skill, we have worked with few brilliant minds in our careers. So I've seen people coming from excellent and world-renowned institutions. They have excellent knowledge. They also have proven themselves with their skills. Excellent IT chap. I mean, he can just you just give him an issue and he'll write a code to resolve it. All right. So he has the skill, but there is a problem. For example, the problem is that he isn't silent when somebody is talking to him or her, right? So what does it mean? I mean, one is you talk to me and I'm trying to interrupt you. That is not listening. You're trying to interrupt me. You're not even letting me speak. But I'm not even talking about that silent. I'm talking about the silence which we are not able to sort of shut our brain when we listen to somebody. We are judgmental. We always try to think about before, think and sort of decide and judge even before the person is concluding. We don't want to give anybody a chance. All right. So if there is a problem with listening, if there is a problem with attitude in terms of ego, if there is a problem with not being able to work as a team, if there is a problem with not accepting our failures, then there's a huge issue. This is a problem with the attitude. All right. And if somebody has a problem with his or her attitude, then mark my words, your knowledge, your skill is of no use. Thank you so much and goodbye. All right. We have done this to so many people. We've recruited people, we have fired people, and trust me, the most important aspect which stands out of all the skills you have, okay, is not your degrees, is not your resume, what you write, what certifications you have done, blah, blah. No. What is more important is your attitude that you bring to the table. And if we are able to figure out that this person has a problem with his attitude, then we would probably reject even the best of minds. I have seen people in my career where people come with excellent skill set, excellent player who can do n number of things, beautiful stuff, extraordinary skill of solving issues and stuff, or writing a code or doing anything, but they're not able to gel with the team. He or she doesn't want to help somebody else. If there is a mistake, they don't want to accept it. They want to cover it up. We have removed such people from our teams, though they are and extraordinary performers. People who are working in this session, if you're experienced, if you're working already, you would agree with me. All right. So what I'm trying to say is that, of course, knowledge is important. Of course, skill is very crucial. But without the right attitude, you cannot go do anything with your knowledge and skill. All right. Okay. So getting back to what I was talking about is very quickly, I'll take you through a few things, and then, as I said, I want to explain a few important aspects of interpersonal skills. Okay. Now, all of us understand that, wait, let me go back to this, and I have to just show you something. Okay, yeah. So if you sit on the internet right now and try to understand something about interpersonal skills, okay, you will get a lot of. Shafiq bhai, is there a way that you keep people on mute?
Yeah, I'm doing it. Whenever there is a noise, I'm just muting it.
Oh, okay, thanks. So if you sit and Google some stuff about interpersonal skills, you're going to get big words. What you see on the screen, for example: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, listening skills, negotiation, problem solving, decision making, assertiveness. Oh my God! I mean, it's like I'm not able to breathe now, because see, these are no doubt important. No doubt they are important. No doubt that all of us have to work on it. Okay. But as I told you, that we have what is this session for? This is like 1 hour session. We're not going to like learn how to make good decisions. We're not going to learn how to solve big problems within an hour. We're not going to be the best of negotiators once we go out of this meeting or the call. Probably we are not going to develop the listening skill as we should have. Okay. So that's the reason why I told you in the beginning that I'm going to sort of get into some part of our personalities which should help us, so that all the time all of us are spending here, I'm not looking at 1 hour, I'm looking at 50 hours, because there are 50 people here. So every single minute for me is very crucial. So no doubt that what you see on the screen, these skills are extremely important, no doubt about it. Okay. And but as I said, that let us understand what is the core, what is the crux of all these aspects, what is the core or crux of all these skills. Now, again, before I do that, I'll quickly show you, for example, uh, you know verbal communication. If all of us understand that, in communication there are two aspects to it. One is the communication which is verbal, and something which is the opposite, which is non-verbal. Okay. So what is verbal? Verbal is more to do with, for example, right now you are listening to me and you're looking at my screen. So your focus is on my tone, the rhythm of my speech, the points which I'm stressing, right? My volume, and of course the choice of words. Which words do I speak and which I don't? All right. But if you listen to me now itself, you would understand that it's not about words. Words are something which we normally listen to. There's no big difference. I mean, maybe I did not tell you even one word from the beginning which you don't know. Then what I'm trying to tell you then, right? So a lot matters on the tone, on the rhythm, on the stress of what you're trying to convey. Okay. So that is why 38% of communication is to do with this part of the verbal communication. And similarly, we also know
ये
that
कट
there is
कर दो.
something we also know that there is something non-verbal, right? So say, for if you look at these pictures, there is a gesture. Somebody says thumbs up, right? You say, I'm ready. So he says, wow, okay, good, right? With a thumbs up, with a smile, and that conveys a lot to you, right? And then there is an expression. If you see that guy, there is a person who's smiling, who is probably not happy, who is excited, who's laughing, and who's grunting, all that. So that expression also matters a lot. And finally, your posture, right? How you project yourself when you sit, or when you walk, or when you stand, or when you lie down. That tells a lot about communication. Your body language tells a lot about your communication. So if you look at it, somebody might think that, okay, I'm poor in communication, my communication skills are weak. Why? Because my vocabulary is low. I don't know a lot of good words in English. My grammar is poor, right? How can I become a good communicator? So for them, it's good news. Why? Because you need to understand that words are only 7% in your communication skill. Rest of it is your tone, how you stress when you speak, how is your volume, how clear you are. Do you open your mouth and speak, or you're like inside your mouth? And the next part is your non-verbal communication. That is your gestures, your postures, your expressions. Overall, that is your body language. All right. Okay. So yeah, this is what it is. And now, one important aspect which I want to leave with you, though this is not the focus of my session, is because a lot of us, we think that everybody. I'm not just speaking about you or me. All of us want to be good speakers, yeah, and all of us want to be good writers. What is the goal of communication? It is that, is that you should be able to speak well, and you should be able to write well. But please look at this screen. I'm trying to just brush these quick topics and then go to the real one. uh, um, Speaking is what? For example, I'm speaking right now. Okay, so I have prepared for this session. Okay, and I have something in mind which I have to tell you, and I know the language, so I'm expressing myself, right? So this is an output of what I already have. Similarly, writing. What is writing? Writing is something which you, for example, you write a paragraph about how did you spend your day. So you're already having something in you which you are putting out in the form of sentences. Okay, so speaking and writing are outputs. Fine, but you tell me, that is there a possibility that you give an output without an input? Can there be anything in this world where you get an output without an input? Sorry, without an input? Is it possible? You don't give input and you say I want output. You don't put efforts and you say you want results. Yeah, you don't invest but you want money. No, not possible, right? So you have to have input in order to get an output. Okay, in the beginning I showed you one myth in the beginning, right? Another myth, let me tell you loud and clear. Listen to this very carefully. There is nothing like a spoken English course. It is rubbish. It is absolutely rubbish. I don't understand how people make business out of spoken English. What is spoken English? How do you think that you go and speak without working on the inputs? You have not worked on the inputs, and the inputs in any language is reading and is listening. Unless you invest in reading, you read 20 pages a day, 50 pages a day, unless you do that, and unless you are listening. Now, listening is my favorite. Okay, listening is like the core skill in communication. We don't even understand that listening is a skill. What do you want me to work on writing? Yes, I will do. I will develop my grammar. I will work on my sentence structure. I will work on my vocabulary. Yeah. And if you want me to speak, maybe let's get on to a debate session. Let's talk about public speaking. Let's talk about speeches and stuff like that. But reading, okay, I understand that I should develop reading, but listening, how do you think that listening is a skill? And trust me, a lot of people don't even understand that listening is a skill. And this is where I'm going to take you from. From the word listening, because this is something to do with your attitude. Why don't I listen to you when you speak? Why am I not paying attention when somebody is speaking? Because I think I know. Because I'm like, I already know this. I know more than him. Why should I listen to him? Right? And then we start stopping people. And if you're an educated person, so-called educated person, you say, okay, you speak, I'm listening to you, I'm quiet. Yeah, but your mind is not quiet. Your mind is not silent. You're actually judging the person more than anything else. You're actually coming to conclusions even before the person has presented you something. Yeah, so that is why, I mean, listening is a complete session, I tell you. I mean, it's a 3-hour workshop I can easily conduct on listening for us to develop that skill. But trust me that if you don't work on listening, if you don't work on reading, forget about spoken English, forget about any aspect of outputs of communication, that is speaking and writing. Don't even think about it. Don't join institutes for spoken English. Don't join institutes for public speaking and stuff like that. You have to work on inputs. All right. Okay, I'll leave you with this aspect here, and let's slightly go ahead. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just to look at certain numbers in communication, listening is the major part, and of course you can see what are the other aspects to it. Okay, and as I said that all these skills are important, but there is something which is core, which is the crux of what we are talking right now. Okay, now I'll take you to the real thing which I want to talk about. Okay, now as I said in the beginning, interpersonal skills is about you know the ability to engage with others, the ability to engage beyond yourself. All right, so if I have to think about the most important aspect of interpersonal communication or interpersonal skill, it has to be um, some sort of a connection. Okay, why are we talking right now? Because PSF has sort of connected us. Yeah, PSF is the medium through which we are connecting to each other. Okay, why are you in that home where you are sitting right now? Because there's a connection with your parents, with your maybe your spouse, with your children, and your relatives. That is why you're there. Why do you go out? As I said, why do you go out, and what do you do to get a 5 kg rice for your mom? There is a connection out there. There is a kirana store, you know him, you go talk to him and get that stuff. Why are you working? What is there at your workplace? There is a connection with your organization. There is a connection with your team. There is a connection with the project you're working on, right? So the most important part of the interpersonal skill, okay, is the connection. Now, what happens with connection, which makes it either which makes you either a strong communicator or a weak communicator? Okay, now think about this. When you are for example, uh, let us take an example of your friend, or maybe your boss, or your spouse, or your parents, right? So when you engage with them, and for example, one day you sit and tell them that, you know what, I really want to improve myself. I want to be a nice person. I want to be good. I want to improve my interpersonal skills with everybody around me, right? Can you please give me a feedback? I mean, can you tell me what's really good and what's really wrong with me, right? So everybody, I mean, for example, if I'm your boss, I'm going to talk about 17 things which you do good, yeah, and then I'm going to tell you that, you know what, there is one thing which you need to work on, your areas of improvement, yeah, and if you work on it, that's going to be a great opportunity. But because of that one thing which you're not doing good, all the good work which you have done is spoiled. So you talk to your friend and say, I know you're very good, I know I'm your friend, but you have this habit, and because of which I don't like you. Yeah, somebody's in a relationship and they say that, all right, I mean, you're a wonderful person, I know, but you don't bring me gifts, so that's it, right? So this happens. I mean, what happens is, in connections, we don't look at, most of the times we don't look at all the, you know, wonderful aspects of it, but probably tend to point out one thing which is not good, which is wrong. Okay, and that one thing might actually supersede all the aspects of the connection we are talking about. Now, in this aspect of connection, what is there beneath connection? Why is my connection, why is my relationship with the other person weak? Why am I not able to really convey? Why am I not really able to convince people? Why am I not able to sell what I am saying? Right? Why am I not able to get through my interviews? Why am I not able to um, sort of take a decision and make everybody happy about it? Right? So there's not, it is not just about communication, guys. It is not just about that. It is a deep rooted problem there. The deep rooted problem or the issue is that, you know, if I have to say, for example, I'll give you an example of team building. Okay, I mean, all of us know that when we are working, team building is such an important exercise. I'm sure PSF must have arranged sessions for team building, right? So if I have to talk about team building, I will not talk about what builds the team. I will talk about what breaks the team. Okay, I'll talk about the dysfunctions of a team, and that will help me to make a team. Okay, so similarly, if I have to talk about strong interpersonal skills and strong connection, so I'm going to use very few words, guys. Okay, and I want you to make a note of it. I want you to this session will finish in few minutes, but I want you to sort of live through it, work on it, and only then you're going to really see a change in yourself. Only then you're going to see an improvement in yourself. So a few words which I'm going to leave with you is soft skills, what I mentioned in the beginning. The second thing is communication. Of course, as I said, the most important skill in communication is listening, right? Is listening. And then the next important word which I just talked about, or what you see, is the connection. The other word for connection can be it can be relationship, right? So what is that which is actually disconnecting? What is that problem, or what is that issue, what is the concern which is making us disconnected? Right? What happened? For example, we are going through pandemic, right? What's happening? I mean, why are we disconnected? Yeah, the problem is there is some fear. Dar hai, right? There is some fear, or there is some shame, right? That I'm not just worthy enough. You know, I don't think I have it in me. Yeah, I mean, I feel that I'm not worthy of this connection. Yeah, so the fear I have, or the shame I have of not being able to do something, is making me sort of less worthy. All right, and this is universal. Okay, this is not just you, this is me. I'm saying it's universal. Okay, we all have it. Okay, the only people who don't have it, they don't exist, because they are perfect. There are no perfect people in this world. Okay, so there's nobody who's perfect, so there's nobody who is having fears and shame. All right, so let's accept it. No one wants to talk about it, right? No one wants to talk about it, and the less you talk, the more you have it. Mark my words, the less you talk about fear, the less you talk about shame, the more you have it. Okay, so what is there beneath this? Iske niche kya hai? What is there which is sort of troubling, or which is sort of disturb? All right, you just unmute yourself and you break me. You break my rhythm. You break my continuation. Right? It's so easy. So okay, yeah. So what I'm talking about is what makes us disconnected. right? So what makes us disconnected is that fear and the shame of not being able to do it. Yeah, I'm not good enough, I'm not beautiful enough, smart enough, rich enough, promoted enough, right? I have all these issues. Yeah. So the idea, can you please go on mute? I mean, if you're not listening here, I would rather leave. I mean, you're not just disturbing yourself but the whole session. Thank you. So the whole idea of this connection to happen, you know. So for example, if we have to take people who are really successful, the so-called successful people, right, in the world. I mean, you read about them. There are so many biographies around. Yeah, you go through their personalities, you go through their stories. Yeah, you go through their failures, whatever it is, right? You try to read the stories about the so-called successful people, and the one thing which okay, the one thing which will be common in all of these successful people will be, okay, it will be the worthiness. Okay, so for example, that if i if I feel that I'm worthy of something, okay, there is a strong sense of love and belonging there. All right, I mean, it doesn't matter who I am. It really doesn't matter. See, I'll tell you one quick short story. Okay, okay. It's not even a story. It's just a small a paragraph which probably I have loved the most. Okay. Now, if you're walking on the street, or if you're on the street traveling, you see a lot of people around, right? You see shops. You see people. Of course, what is that which attracts you? When you look outside, you're sitting in a vehicle, you look out and you look at people walking around, you look at people moving, right? Out of those tens or hundreds of people, who are the ones which actually attract you? Those are the people, maybe, those who look good, maybe, yeah, those who look smart, those who look beautiful, or maybe who are wearing a good dress, carrying a nice trendy bag, yeah, wearing some excellent goggles, or a nice color which they are wearing, a footwear which you love and you feel attracted to. Yeah, so most of us, it's very common, right? We look at I mean, out of all those tens and hundreds of people outside, a very few people attract you and you look at them. Okay, but there could be a man who is who's not even wearing proper clothes. Okay, who uh, whose clothes are not even clean, who might not have a wallet in his pocket. The wallet doesn't have a credit card, has no money, has no debit card, right? And this man who is walking on the street is not going to attract you. This man, if he speaks, maybe nobody will listen to him, right? But there is somebody, there is a house, there is a family who is waiting for this man to come home in the evening, because that man is the most important part of that family. For you, it doesn't matter. For nobody, that man matters, right? Because he's not wearing good clothes, he's not presentable. Yeah, he has problems. Maybe he looks obese, whatever, right? He's not even clean, he doesn't have any money, not worthy of anything. But there is worthiness for someone who's waiting for him to come back home, right? And when he goes back, and even if he doesn't have anything in his hands, there are people, maybe his children, are going to go and hug him. So what I'm trying to say is that when you have a sense of love and belonging, that is where your worth is. You have any skill you want, name it. You study from the best of the colleges and universities, you name it. You bring me any package, a check which you want to keep in front of me, it's a waste. It's of no use. If you don't have that that sense of love and belonging, that worthiness in your personality, if you don't feel that worthiness with the people around you, if the people around you don't feel safe when you are around them, if the people around you don't feel respectful when you're talking to them, if the people around you feel ashamed when you talk to them, then you're not the right person to do anything in this world. Then you're making big mistakes in life. Then you're screwing up relationships. You are actually breaking your connections. Okay? So the biggest aspect which is going to separate people from people who are successful, the people who are having good relationships, the people who are having good interpersonal skills, there is only one variable. And that variable is worthiness. Okay? And it is very simple. I mean, you got to, maybe I'll take 5 minutes more than my time, but I'll let me complete this part of how much you are able to let us understand this part and bring it to conclusion. Okay, so please be with me, bear with me. So if people don't have that deep sense of worthiness, I have so much. I look around, I have so many things in my house. I look around, I have probably a few properties as well. Yeah. If I open my file, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 degrees in my file. I have a vehicle. But am I successful? Am I really having good relationships, strong connections? I'm not talking about connection with the CM or connection with the minister. I'm talking about the connection between the hearts. Right? So if you don't have that, then you're not worthy. The stuff which you have at home is not worthy. The degrees in your file are not worthy. The paycheck which you're drawing is not worthy. The wonderful car which you drive is not worthy. Yeah? Your vacation slips are not worthy. Because something which is missing is that sense of love and belonging. Okay? Now, what do we need to do? Say, for example, I realize that, okay, I'm really making some mistakes. There are some problem with connections. Of course, maybe there are, I'm weak in interpersonal skills. Then what do I do? What is needed? What is needed is wait, let me type it for you here. What is needed is the courage to be imperfect. What is needed is the courage to be authentic. Be what you are. Okay? I mean, I wish I could switch on my video. I mean, I have a bad tooth. It's okay. I don't want to, I need not cover it up when I'm speaking. Because if I'm trying to hide my bad tooth when I'm speaking, I'm not opening my mouth enough and I'm not clear. Yeah, I mean, there is a problem I have. Guys. Okay, so I have to have the courage to be authentic, to be able to present myself the way I am. And for that, you know what is needed? It's more of intra, not inter. If you don't love yourself, if you don't find yourself worthy, yeah, if you don't respect yourself and treat yourself kindly, you will not have the compassion to treat others well. The problem is that because of our shortcomings, जो कमजोरियां हम में होती हैं, right, the problems we have within us, you know, that sort of stops us and we hate ourselves. We first dislike ourselves when we stand in front of the mirror, and that is the problem. The problem is not people calling you imperfect. The problem is not people calling you or telling you that you have issues. The bigger problem is that when you don't treat yourself properly and kindly and respectfully, you have to be the imperfect perfect. Only when you do that, only when you treat yourself kindly, you will be able to show that compassion, that empathy, that love, that respect, that care to others, which is very, very important for our connections, for our relationship, and for our interpersonal skills. I'll tell you a small story and then leave you there. I had a colleague, Poonam, you know, in my office. She joined. She was a trainee in my team. She used to travel about 45 kilometers one way to office, so 90 kilometers daily. All right. She used to come from a village. Couple of years as a trainee, and then sorry, 1 year as a trainee, and then she was I was training her in various aspects of things, and then what happened is she joined my team and she was part of my team, and then she was there about 2 years in that team, and then she moved out into our organization used to work a lot on social work and outreach, etc. So she used to work there. Now there is one skill she had, one aspect of hers which I'm sort of jealous of. I mean, I feel I have it, and which marks her, which leaves her out of all the other people, many people I know. You know, she used to just come and she used to say that, you know what, Irfan, I've screwed it up. You know what, Irfan, I have made such a big mistake. You know what, Irfan, you have to scold me today. You know what, Irfan, I have done nothing which is productive today. Oh my God. I mean, I used to first laugh at her. Why do you say all these things? But then I understood that, you know, in order to be perfect, you need to actually be good with your imperfections. You should have the courage to be authentic, as I said. You need to have the courage to show your shortcomings. No problem. No problem. Yeah, if I'm making a mistake, let me accept it. I'm sorry. I'll not do it again. This is the same problem. Either you take an individual, you take a family, you take a government for that matter. What is the government trying to do? Hide the shortcomings? It's okay. There's some problem which happens in an organization. There is an oil spill, people die. Fine. I mean, you cannot you cannot mend your ways what has really happened, but you just have to say, I'm sorry. We are sorry for this. We are going to, nothing can replace the person you have lost, but we'll give you some amount of money so that your family family kind of continues, and we'll make sure that this doesn't happen again. All right. So probably I'll quickly conclude, right, that all of us have vulnerabilities. Yeah, all of us have weaknesses, shortcomings, issues, everything. But we need to be bold enough. We need to stand up. We need to have that courage to say, okay, I made a mistake. I am wrong. I don't know. You have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready to change. And if you're not doing this, then you are developing mistrust. Yeah, you are actually throwing the faith out of the equation. You're throwing the trust out of the equation, because of which, the wholeheartedness will not be there. The only thing you need to do is speak from your heart. Your language doesn't matter. Your vocabulary, your grammar, your English doesn't matter. Speak from your heart. Because most of the times when we do that, but what happens is, like, Shafiq bhai, I have 2 minutes. Sorry, I've exceeded the time.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yes.
Yeah, I just 2 minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. So when you say for example, you go and sit and talk to people, okay, interpersonal, right? So you sit and talk to people, listen to their stories. You ask people about love. Ask people about, not love, right? LOVE, love. They'll tell you about heartbreak. Yeah, you ask people about belonging or belongingness. They'll tell you stories of excruciating experiences of being excluded. You talk to people about connection, people will tell you stories about disconnection. Finally, you sort of think about interpersonal skills. You will find problematic people, and you have to deal with them. The ability to deal with ourselves first, with all the imperfections I have, with all the vulnerabilities I have within myself, and then the ability to deal with the people outside me with due respect, with care, with love, with connections, with deep rooted relationships. This will build your interpersonal skills. Thank you so much. So can we have questions? Maybe a few. If you have put it in the chat box, maybe I'll take some of them. Okay, you can ask questions maybe later on as well. I'll leave my email ID. Sorry, once again. So no questions at all. I'm afraid that when there are no questions, either everything is understood or nothing. Sure. So I just pinged my email ID. I prefer email more than WhatsApp or phone. That is why I have shared this with you. So please feel free to write. okay, to write to me, to ask questions. Yeah, I know there will be questions around how to improve communication. um, Saad Umer, right? So Saad, as I said, to work on communication skill, uh, there are four aspects to it. I would really love to sort of maybe engage later on in future. As I said, the most important skill to have is listening. Okay, and uh, for language, you need to, as I showed you, input versus output. You cannot get outputs like good speaking and writing unless you work on your inputs, that is listening and reading. So I would strongly recommend you to focus on the two inputs. And once you are able to make a proper sentence, a proper sentence which you can speak and write, then you can surely focus on communication aspect of it. I'm afraid that I'll not be able to answer this in detail right now, but I would leave you with a suggestion of working on your listening and reading as of now. Yeah, thank you, Babar bhai, good to have you here. Any other questions, please? So I hope that this is of some use. Okay, and as I said, it's not a very complicated world unless we want to make it one. So I have left you with some keywords and terminologies which you could sit down, think about it, and then work on it. So thank you so much for your patience and for listening, for bearing with me. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Irfan bhai. It was a wonderful session, especially the listening part. It was really nice to learn those things. One question we got is how to raise bar in inter-team behavior practices in team.
All
Do you
right.
know?
So, Naeem Mohammed, as I said, that you know, the behavior within the team when you talk about team building, right? That's the key aspect to it. So, as I said, that if I have to work on team building, the first thing which I'll work on is what breaks a team. Okay, the dysfunctions. What are the things which sort of there are about 7 dysfunctions of a team. We can have. I'm sure there might be some sessions. So what I would request you to see what are the problems in the team first. What are the things which break the team? Okay, and if you work on the dysfunctions of the team, that will help you really build. And one core aspect of it, which I'll convey to you now that you've asked the question, is trust. Okay, wherever there is mistrust or wherever there is lack of trust within the team members, that it's very difficult to build that behavior or good practices in the team. Similarly, the ability to express our failures, I have covered this in my session. The same thing applies in a team as well, that in a team, if people are hesitant to say that I don't know, I have a problem, can you please help me, then it's very difficult. So the people have to be open, they have to be expressive. They have to have that courage to get up and stand up and say that, okay, I maybe it is a simple thing, but I don't know, I need help, right? So such teams will really flourish. And there is one question of the important points of your, it's not a speech. Okay. So Aisha, I think um, I have, I'll quickly go through those, tell you a few important things. You can make a note of it. As I said, the first part of it is communication. The most important aspect of interpersonal skills is communication. But the second thing, as I said, is more important than a skill is attitude, right? So in terms of attitude, I talked about first fixing ourselves, and in that I spoke about connections. Interpersonal skills is all about connections. Okay, how you connect with people. As I said, connection is not about how strong your connections are with rich people or with politicians and stuff like that, but how good you are with people when you connect with them. So connection, you can say relationships, or both of them are pretty much the same. Yeah. And then yeah, what is that which breaks connection, or what is the problem with connection, whether the connection is weak? It is shame and fear. So we should be able to deal with shame and fear. You can write that point. And wholeheartedness, that is again important point to be noted, that we have to be wholehearted. We have to be able to present ourselves the way we are, right? With only that wholeheartedness we will be able to understand ourselves. And the other important terminology or word which I would leave you is, as I said, the most significant part of successful people is worthiness. They have a strong sense of love and belonging, which you need to have, right? Yeah, I think these are few keywords.
One last question we'll take is what kind of attitude should we have with our teammates?
Yeah, I think I just answered this question, Samreen. So, as I said, that in a team, a couple of key aspects is first trust. Okay, when I'm saying team, I'm not just talking about team members and I'm excluding management out of it. No, okay. In fact, the job is of the team leaders, of the management, where the management is able to build that trust and faith in the team, that they are able to see the same thing what the management is saying. Okay, they are able to their vision is the same as the team's vision. Okay, so it's the responsibility and job of the management and the team leaders to ensure that they are carrying their team with them. Okay, they live the vision and the values they have in the team. So that is where the trust factor is extremely crucial. There cannot be mistrust. And the second aspect in the team, I think, in terms of attitude, is the attitude to learn, is the attitude to say, I don't know, is the attitude to say, can you please help me? Okay, is the attitude to say that I'm falling apart. As I said, I give the example of my friend or of my colleague Poonam, and trust me, I'm trying to work on myself on that aspect.
Thank you very much, Irfan bhai, for taking time on a Sunday. It was a wonderful session. I would really appreciate if you can send me this PPT. I'll forward it to the
So there's nothing in the PPT. Anyway, I'll share it.
yeah, please do that. I have created a WhatsApp group just for this session,
Sure,
for the job and career guidance sessions. So I'll forward it there and also the recording.
sure, sure. All right.
Thank you
Thank
very much. It was a nice session. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks for arranging, and thanks for the, for allowing me to be here. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.